The Auburn Tigers get a big 43-41 win over the Texas A&M Aggies in 4 overtimes. Let's go, man. Let's go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Up-tempo gang, Auburn family. Good morning, man. Dustin Smith, Blake Lane coming at you. Live edition of the Up-Tempo podcast. Blake, I've never been more excited to get on here and press record with you, brother. War damn Eagle, my guy.
War damn Eagle. And how about them Auburn Tigers?
Let's go.
What a win. What a win for the program, y'all. It's a great day to be an Auburn Tiger. I think we can take a deep breath, Dustin. I think we can take a deep breath after everything that has happened this year, all the tough losses, all the ways that we've been ahead and found a way to lose games. And last night, we were just talking about it was finally the opposite. It was finally them doing it, right?
Yeah.
Them dropping the ball. We can finally take a deep breath, man. We won one, and it feels good. And it's great to wake up on a Sunday morning, and you get to get out of bed and you get to freshen up and say, man, Auburn can do it. Auburn can do it. Like our head coach said, we're not far off, okay? We're not far off. We can still hang with the big boys, and we showed that. And it feels good to kind of bow your chest out this morning and say, hey, we ruined somebody's season last night. A team that had a lot of momentum. A team that has put the money and the resources into their program, who had Johnny Manziel, and he brought them the expanded stadium, and they hire a new coach in Mike Elko, who had great success at Duke. And they were bought in, and they were having a great year. They were projected to go to the SEC championship and go to the college football playoff, and you ruined it. You said, hey, no more, man. Like, you're coming into Jordan-Hare. We're still a hostile environment. Just great win. Great overall team win, and for this program, proud of Hugh Freeze and the boys last night.
Yeah. When we were up 21-0, I definitely didn't feel comfortable. I knew like A&M's at least going to fight back in this if Auburn doesn't just outright blow it. Didn't feel good about it, just based off the way things have gone the last 4 or 5 years. And then with Chapman with the punts and not knowing, the missed field goal that was so bad. And shout out to Vashon for coming back in there and making these clutch kicks after that miss, because it definitely could have went south. Mm-hmm. And just it played out. It was playing out like so many of these home games have played out over the past, since COVID really, where it just felt like we weren't going to be able to get this done. We were going to find a new way to lose it. I was like, are we really like a punter? Is this one going to be on the punt game? The punter shanking it and giving a bad field position, but the defense standing up, getting the stops when they had to, and I think they got gassed out there at the end of the game. The offense definitely stalled out in the fourth quarter, but just finding a way to win, man. Just finding a way to win a football game that you absolutely had to have. And I think that you saw it with the fans storming on the field last night. You saw the emotion all over the place, all over the fans and the players' faces. Like, Jarquez Hunter deserved that. Like, I put it under your tweet. I said it was worth storming the field just to carry Jarquez off. Like, that, he deserved the field storming alone. How many times have we sat inside that stadium over the past 5 years and watched heartbreaking losses that you felt like, well, man, that could have moved the program forward. Yeah. That was the tough thing about the Oklahoma loss. Was I was like, well, damn it, man, that could have moved us forward. And instead, I feel like the program's taking a step back. Now, all of a sudden, it feels like, hey, we got over that hump. Yep. Top 15 team at home. What we talked about in the pregame show. That's why we labeled the pregame show, Auburn has a big opportunity. and
Yep.
finally you have the opportunity there and you capitalize on it. And 4 overtimes, like dramatic. Is the magic back on our side in Jordan-Hare Stadium, Blake?
Hey, it seems like it. It seems like everything that went down last night, like Nick Saban said, the place is haunted. The place is haunted. He said, in my 17 years, the way we won games, the way we lost games, the place is haunted. And I warn you, Texas A&M, when you go in there at
Mm.
night, it's one of the craziest environments. It's one of the craziest environments in college football, man. And that still reigns true. And this fan base brought it. Once again, man, the Auburn fans showed up and showed out. And I just wanted to say this about rushing the field. If you have a problem with rushing the field, y'all, as bad as it's been since COVID, why not rush the field? Why not give these recruits something to say, hey, that was pretty sick, man. Like that was a dope atmosphere. And I don't think that one can be touched. Deuce Knight just rushed the field at Vaught Hemingway. So why not give Deuce Knight the same energy at Jordan-Hare and show him that Vaught Hemingway ain't got a damn thing on Jordan-Hare? So why are we mad about rushing the field? Are we a better program than Texas A&M? Obviously. But have we been the past 4 or 5 years? No. So give your fans some excitement. Let them have fun. Let these recruits and these kids have fun, and stop worrying about if we're being embarrassed by rushing the field and all that. Who cares? Who cares? We needed to have fun last night, and we needed to show these kids some love. So to all the fans that rushed the field, I'm with you. I think it was a great job. I'm proud of you for showing that you still love Auburn, Dustin.
Yeah. Tim the Toolman Taylor says they were literally carrying KLS. He deserved it. Blake, let's go back to pregame show Thursday. You talked about how Payton Thorne had 2 games left, had an opportunity to make a statement, had an opportunity to be remembered for something. And with about a minute and a half to go, we faced a 4th and 2, and he tucks the ball and he gets a big run that kind of sets us up, puts us in field goal range, makes a couple more big throws to kind of get us down there and do everything he had to do. And then obviously getting the throw up there to KLS, and he had one bad turnover. I guess he's just due for one head scratcher a game, and it was terrible and it came at a bad time. But other than that, I thought he was really tough. We know he's playing hurt. We know he's playing banged up. And he played like a guy that had nothing to lose last night. Everything that you talked about last week, wanting to see from him mentally, I thought he brought it. I thought he brought all the juice last night. We had to have him,
Yep.
and it's a performance that he'll forever be remembered for.
Look, man, I wanted Peyton to just give it his all. Come out, fight for this program, come out and leave it all out there, man. Dabo used to say, BYOG, bring your own guts.
Mm.
And I thought Payton Thorne did that last night. That's how you fight, man. That's how you battle. I said in the pregame show, this game was going to come down to Payton Thorne having to use his legs. No Payton Thorne slander in this chat today. No Payton Thorne slander on this show today. I have been on his tail for the past 2 years about effort and decision making and just wanting to see him be a little tougher. And last night he showed me, hey, he was going out. He was going out whatever way he had to win that game, he was doing it. And that big time run on that 4th down and getting Auburn down to tie the game. Auburn should have won the game in regulation. We false started twice inside the 10, y'all. I don't get it how that happened. You could hear a mouse piss on cotton. All right, it was so quiet in there, and somehow we still had 2 false starts. But
Yeah.
the accuracy last night for most of the game was spot on, and his decision making last night was for most of the game spot on. That one pick we do talk about, just throw it out of bounds, man. Like, do not, when you're rolling out, you're cutting off half the field. Do not throw back across your body and try to fit it into a window, because guess what? That window is not there. Okay. It might look like it's there, but it is not there. And just toss that baby out of bounds and live to fight another day. But to go 85 yards, man, to tie the game and put us in that position, I'm proud of Payton Thorne. You know, he's caught a lot of hell in his time at Auburn, Dustin. And but last night we got to give him his flowers, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Tough as hell. Hell of a performance, man. And a win that could be big, a win that could be really, really big for Hugh Freeze and could propel him forward. We'll probably talk about this later on in the week, but I think this one kind of helped you lock up a lot of recruits. And that's one. I think that was literally one of my keys to the game last week. Was like, hey, let's win so we can help this keep this recruiting class together. But before we get in, we can talk about this as the week goes on. But Marshall says, does Peyton leave a legend if he leads Auburn to a victory over Alabama? I don't want to go too far down this road on this one tonight, but I'll say this: you hear a whole lot about a couple of throws that like a guy like Patrick Nix made. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to have the best career, man. If you can have a big game versus Alabama, yes. I mean, you remember Sal Canelo's catch, won't you? You're always going to remember it. Yeah, you got an opportunity to become a legend.
I don't, yeah, like, you're not going to be one of those dudes where it's like a statue.
Right,
know?
right.
But yeah, you're going to get talked about.
Yeah, for sure. Keith says the Jordan Hare mystique is alive and thriving. Yeah, man, we needed to flip it around because that Oklahoma game, that Cal game, you know, there's some games, that Arkansas game, where you look at it and you're like, we're not getting the bounces, we're not getting the calls, and we're not executing when we need to. Like, what's going on here? This is supposed to be our stadium. And last night, to finally see it go our way, yeah, man, it was really nice. Jarquez Hunter, last home game, 28 carries, 4 receptions, 32 touches overall. Good things happen, Blake, when you feed your best player. And then for the second game in a row, Cam Coleman has over 100 yards. Keandre Lambert-Smith has over 100 yards. Just kind of talk about the performance of those guys and what they brought to the table.
I'm glad we finally gave Jarquez the football when it mattered and got him over 20 carries, man. I'm proud of Hugh for realizing that your best players need the football. The scheme for Cam Coleman was great. I thought he dialed it up perfectly. I do not think Cam Coleman is leaving Auburn, Alabama. I think they're locked in. When I watched the post game, Cam Coleman's right next to Hugh as he's doing his interview. He's proud as hell for Hugh, and y'all, I think we're going to be all right. Look, Jarquez Hunter is your workhorse. He's your guy. You give it to him. You give it to him in short yardage. You give it to him on first down, and he makes things happen. He's a hell of a running back, and he'll be remembered here at Auburn University forever. Cam Coleman is going to be an absolute monster. He's going to have 2 more years of college football, and then he's going to the NFL because he is that good. It might have taken him a little bit of time to fully realize and get the game slowed down. And, as a true freshman, it kind of happens like that, Yeah. But now it's figured out, man. Like, that dude, they're not going to be able to guard him. And then KLS on the other side of him. I mean, you had a guy throw for 300, rush for 100, and 2 guys have 100-yard receiving games. KLS will go as as an Auburn great. He will go down as an Auburn all-time great for 1 season, but he's one of the greatest wide receivers to ever play at Auburn University. And I'm okay with saying that with 1 season. I think what he has done, like, Hugh doesn't have to keep calling DK Metcalf and say, hey, man, like, you don't have to call Laquan Treadwell and be like, hey, man, like, tell these dudes what I'm about. Nah, you can call these youngsters and say, hey, FaceTime KLS. FaceTime KLS and ask him about me. Because KLS, I raised that draft stock for KLS. KLS, he come to Auburn and did his thing. Even if we're 5-6 right now. Dude's a legend, man. Like, we want to talk about people coming back to Auburn and never having to worry about nothing. KLS is a legend. One of the Auburn greats, man. I'm okay. I think shoot, KLS might come back to Auburn before he goes back to Penn State.
Hmm.
Like that's the mark. That's the mark he made at Auburn. I think he's going to be remembered here forever.
Yeah, I don't see him slipping past the third round.
Yeah, he's a dog, bro.
Yeah, and the recruiting tool that's going to be for Hugh Freeze moving forward. It's like, yes, I've done it at Ole Miss, I've done it at Liberty, and look, I've done it at Auburn here, even with what wasn't the best situation at quarterback. I'm going to get to some of these comments here, and then we'll get into player of the game. I think that'll be an interesting conversation. Tim the Toolman Taylor says, Perry was hype on IG Live last night, so was Deuce. Yeah, the quotes coming out from the recruits, and that's kind of why I alluded to it last week, saying, like, this is your last chance to host these guys. You done everything you were supposed to do outside of closing the game out and let them go to Toomer's Corner. They got to see it for everything that it was worth last night, and yeah, that's massive. Trent says, ha ha ha, Dustin, you are now free to go back to Jordan Hare. I don't really understand the context of this. Maybe I missed something there. Michael says, I read the... Well, I go to Auburn games, and I've seen Auburn win. There's no correlation to like me going and Auburn winning. I've seen Auburn win this year. I've seen Auburn lose. There's no, I didn't really. Maybe you know something I don't, Trent. If Michael says, I read the recruiting reactions this morning, and the recruits love rushing the field. Yeah, man. It's everyone was so worried, right? Everyone was so worried. Deuce rushed the field versus Ole Miss. Deuce rushed the field versus Ole Miss. Well, he got to rush the field at Auburn, and he comes out and he says, at like 1 a.m. last night, I saw the article starting to come up of him saying, I can't wait to get in here January and go to work. We're really close. So good luck.
They're children. They're children, okay? They're kids, man. You have to remember, these dudes are 16 and 17 years old. Like they're still in high school, man. And y'all are over here arguing about running on the field and all that. Let them have fun, man. They just got their damn driver's license. What are you talking about? Like, they're still immature kids. Like, we're adults arguing about kids and college kids running onto the field. Who cares? Let these dudes have fun. Let these girls, like I saw a couple TikToks last night, man. These girls were crying in the stands because they were like, this was our last Auburn home game, and we won. So we're rushing the field. And I was like, good for them, man. Like they've been at Auburn through the tough times in their college career, and they still showed up. Let these girls cry and get on the field, man. Let them have fun. Let them go to Sky Bar and live it up, man. Let them do it all. Great weekend at Auburn. That whole rushing the field thing got me, man.
Yeah, and I didn't even think about that angle. You're a student, you've been there 4 years, and time after time you've sat in that student section, and you've walked out going, how did we lose that game?
Yeah.
And this wasn't, guys, this wasn't Western Kentucky or hell, Kentucky, like we beat a top 15 team. And me and Blake were talking about this before we started recording. A team that everyone, if you're smart, you can acknowledge Texas A&M's a sleeping giant in college football, and it's been a sleeping giant for a long time. And the way that we all feel about Auburn, like, man, if we can just get the guy to get in here and unlock it and turn this thing going the right way, we're gonna be okay. They're that, probably plus more when you consider the money they have. And you put a little dent in that last night. You put a little shot in there. You ruined their playoff chances. And think about this from that recruiting angle. We were all sitting here worried, going, Auburn might be 4-8, while Ole Miss is prepping up for a playoff run. Of course, they're going to flip our 5-star edge and our 5-star quarterback. Well, guess what? Ole Miss's ceiling just so happens to still be 3 losses. It don't matter how much money the Grove NIL Collective pumps into that roster. It don't matter who they come and flip from whatever. It doesn't matter. You're still Ole Miss. Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, who the hell are you? You're the same team, like our boy Ike always says. You're broke, you're ugly, you'll win the Egg Bowl next week, you'll beat Mississippi State, and you'll be 9-3, because that's your ceiling. Would I trade places this year? Would I want Auburn to be 9-3? Sure I would. I sure would, but it's not Auburn's ceiling. You pushed all the chips to the table. All in, Ole Miss said. All in. 9-3. 9-3. The ceiling at Auburn, high school recruits hear me. The ceiling at Auburn is much, much higher than the ceiling in Oxford, Mississippi. And that became very evident last night as well. And Tuscaloosa, it's your first time losing 3 games since 2010. I got news for you. You better get used to this feeling because Nick Saban's not unretiring. He's not creating the time machine and going back and becoming 55 years old again. It's over.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of Ole Miss, you still got 0 trips to Atlanta.
They're never going. They're never
Pipe
going,
down.
Blake.
Pipe down. Look, Auburn fans, don't let Ole Miss fans trick you into this is a rivalry, okay? It's never been a rivalry. It never will be a rivalry. Excuse my language, but you're dog shit. All right. You put your everything. You pushed the chips in for your best roster. You killed the transfer portal. You had Jackson Dart come back. Man should sign an NIL deal with Kleenex. So, you know, I just don't ever see you getting there. This was supposed to be the year you beat Georgia, you knock the giant off your back, and you lose to G5 Billy the next week in the swamp. So, I've never been a believer in Ole Miss. I never will be. And guess what, Alabama? We tried to tell you about old Husky Harsin. All right, we warned you. We warned you. All right, Husky Harsin. He ain't that guy. He ain't that guy. And it's Iron Bowl week, Dustin. So
yeah, man.
You know it's Buck Fama around here, and it's gonna be a hell of a week. So I can't wait for the Iron Bowl. I think we got a shot. You know, I always think we got a shot. I think we can run the ball on them. I think we can have success. And the way our defense is playing, you saw what Oklahoma did to Jalen Milroe last night. I think our defense can do the same. DeMarcus Riddick, I think he can have success in this game this Saturday. Roll, Tears rolled. Let's go beat the piss out of Alabama, man.
Yeah, isn't it? It's fun to have a little hope this week, man. We can talk like that this week, and it's an attainable game. And I don't want to sit here and reflect on, you know, what this season could have been. Well, we'll do that probably a whole lot in the offseason. But Hugh said it last night in the postgame presser, like this year should have gone different. This record should be different. But that doesn't mean that this team, you got 1 game left. Hey, come out the way you came out last week or last night. Jump on them early, make it a ball game. You haven't won in Bryant-Denny since the comeback in 2010. Let's slay that dragon, man. Keith says, huge props to your walk-on place kicker, the Iceman. Yeah, dude. It's this is the point to where me and Blake have been, we're trying to be understanding of Towns Magoo's struggles and empathetic for the human, but at some point it's like, I don't care that you're a freshman. The excuses get old.
Yep.
At some point, it doesn't matter anymore. Just make your freaking kicks. And you got a guy who's come in the last 2 games and he missed 1. And yeah, he missed 1 badly, but bounced right back after that. Hits the long one to send us into overtime. And the extra points. You can't overlook the extra points because they're obviously crucial in a tight game like that. And after he shanked that one so badly, I was like, man, an extra point situation might get shaky. I mean, you're down to your 3rd string guy. And for your 3rd string guy to hit the clutch kicks when he absolutely had to, man, huge props. Balls of steel. That's legend stuff, man. That's legend stuff. And that's that mentality. That's that winner's mentality that me and Blake have been trying to just pound the table on all year. It's like at some point you don't want to hear excuses anymore. You just want somebody to go out there and get the job done. And he did it.
I'll say this about Ian Vachon. First off, hell of a journey from Birmingham Southern to Auburn University. Incredible. And this is what coaches talk about when they say, be ready for the moment, be ready for your opportunity, because you never know when you're going to get that opportunity. Towns Magoo, top-rated kicker in the country. You keep him from going to Ole Miss. You keep him in the backyard. He's from Auburn. He struggles this year. Ian Vachon gets his opportunity against ULM, and you're sitting here saying, "Hey, Auburn's trying to work a new kicker in." Poor Alex McPherson, he's dealing with some things, and he can't help that. And we hope he comes back and all that stuff. But you stay ready for the moment. And Ian Vachon, he dropped his nuts last night. He did it, man. Like, how nervous were you sitting there saying, "Hey, we got to hit this kick to go to overtime"?
Oh, thought it was over.
I thought it was over.
Not gonna lie.
But and then bang, he nailed it. And I said, "Hey, give us hope one time, man. Give us hope." I'm so proud of that dude. That is the reason you stay ready for the moment. That is the reason you put in all the hard work. Look, we got a kicker that wears a back plate, and he's out here drilling game winners and all that good stuff. And I just huge shout out to him, man. And when that PI happened, when they called the pick on Rivaldo and it backed us up, I was like, "Oh no, man!" I was like, "Vachon's about to have to kick this one from 45. Like, what are we doing here?" And then we get a big pickup. Payton uses his legs and gets him a little closer, and just a great team win, Dustin.
Yeah, man. Let's see. Legit says, and now Lane stuck there at least another year talking about Ole Miss. First ranked win since 2021 versus Ole Miss. Yeah, I think it was a Halloween night, Harson's first year. I believe the final of that one was 31-20, something like that. Yeah, Malcolm. It felt so good. I had that brief 5-10 second pause to make sure there wasn't some kind of flag because, like Blake just alluded to there, the pick play. Well, before, how you don't call PI and or holding on the Lambert Smith is beyond me, and the ref is literally staring at it. And then you come back with whatever that pick play call is, the offensive PI, the next play. And I text Blake and I said, we don't have a shot because the SEC has decided that the team in this game that has playoff hopes is going to win the game. And I still believe that's what they were trying to do there. You cannot convince me. You cannot look me in the eye straight face and convince me that the ref staring at that call either missed the holding call or pass interference, whatever you want to call it. Like he just didn't have an angle. Bullshit. I'm looking at him. He's staring at it. Or it was just, let's just let him play. No, he grabbed his shoulder pad. He had his shoulder pad and was pulling him. I heard some debate about whether it was a catchable ball or not. It's absolutely catchable. He's going to catch it if he doesn't get his shoulder. And then the very next play, you call that to back us up. We beat the refs on top of beating Texas A&M, and that makes it all the much more sweeter. And I don't know what it's been this year. I'm not saying there's this anti-Auburn agenda. I do think it's funny that most of the time I leave the basketball game thinking we got absolutely hosed on the calls ever since Bruce Pearl's been the coach. And I do think it's funny that I'm starting to leave all these football games thinking that we kind of got hosed by the refs with Hugh Freeze being the head coach. But that's a discussion for another day. But we can go down that road later. But there might be something to that. But last night it 100% felt like they were trying to keep A&M, the team with the playoff hopes, because Bama had just taken a loss and their playoff hopes take a dent. Ole Miss takes a loss, their playoff hopes take a dent, and then A&M sitting there in a dogfight in overtime in Jordan Hare, and it just felt like the SEC made the phone call and said, no, you can do what you got to do. And big shout out to Hugh Freeze, man. Big shout out to Hugh Freeze for just how pissed off he was, because he had every single right to be upset about that. And I don't give a damn that we won, Blake. The SEC owes us an explanation for those two calls, because that's absolute crap.
It was bad, and I agree 100% that I think that was trying to keep A&M in the playoff hunt and trying to keep them in the SEC championship game. It can't happen, man. Cut it out. Like that pick on Rivaldo, like that's terrible. Louis Riddick even called it out. He said that might be the worst call I've ever seen. Cut it out, y'all. Like this is the reason why people think sports are rigged. There you go. That's why they think sports is rigged.
And here's something that me and Blake have been screaming for a long time. Legit says refs need to be held accountable in all sports. I need your name on the back of your jersey, and you need to stand up at the press conference and explain to me why you didn't make the call there on KLS and why you did make the call. What you saw that led you to make the offensive pass interference call on Rivaldo Fairweather. Because if Payton Thorne, for the last 2 years, has had to sit in his chair, head down, slumped over, and explain fourth quarter collapse time and time again as a 21, 22-year-old, however old he is, then I think that the 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old grown men that are officiating the game and dictating the outcome of the game. And if you're going, and here's my argument with this. I'm not a betting guy, but if you're going to have legalized sports gambling, I think you have to have the refs do that. There has to be that transparency. I mean, anybody watching the NFL knows the deal with the Chiefs right now. You're not getting the call in the fourth quarter versus the Chiefs. You're just not, and you know it's coming. And every week, when it happens to an NFL team, and the entire NFL fan base is like, "Well, you played the Chiefs this week, sucks for you." I don't think that's cool. I think it's time for them to step up and be held accountable. And I want to know these refs' names. I want to know who they are. I know Pat Adams in college basketball, so when I see Pat Adams come out there with the whistle around his neck, I know that we're in for about 4 hours of basketball. We're going to shoot about 70 free throws apiece, and this game's going to have no flow. We know what it is. I would like to see a little bit more of that in football, man, and definitely answering the questions in the postgame. Why is that not a pass interference on Keandre Lambert-Smith? I would love to hear why you didn't make that call. And, yeah, Billy, they tried to take it away from us, but battle back, baby. Not tonight, baby, not tonight. It finally went our way, man. Tim the Toolman Taylor. Refs needed to come to – yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you, Tim, being a member for 4 months. Going to have a busy week for the member pods because the recruiting national – I keep calling it National Signing Day. Technically, it's early signing day, but the way this is going, this is pretty much National Signing Day now.
Yeah.
You're seeing all the quotes coming out from all the recruits that were there last night, talking about just how good time they had. It's kind of locked up their recruitment, and like we talked about last week, it was your last opportunity to do that. So this is the week, Blake. If people want to sign up for the memberships, tell them what they're going to be getting because we got some content coming out, baby.
Yeah, y'all, look, JV Squad, $3.99 a month. You can see right there on the left, members only live chat. We're going to be doing some things for basketball season coming up, some live shows during the games where if you're a member, you can hop in here and chat it up with us, early access to videos. Baseball season is right around the corner. You're going to get some early access to some baseball videos and content like that. Priority reply to comments. You can see when you send super chats, all that good stuff. We will be the first to bring it up. If you're a member, all that good stuff. $5.99 a month. The Varsity Squad. I think this is the one that you need to go with, folks. You're going to get the recruiting update videos, game day group chat. That's always a blast. We have fun in there. We talk about life, Auburn, Auburn sports, whatever, man. We have a great time as a big family. Gameplay with you. Hey. Video games out, EA Sports, college football, 25. If you want to get down on the sticks, we're there. Watch the film, Auburn baseball. I'm going to start breaking down some film, some at-bats, things like that of like Cooper McMurray and some of these guys, Derek Fabian on this baseball team that are coming back. And, you know, there's a little hype around the baseball team this year. So I'll start releasing some of those and, again, get those out there for the ones of you that love college baseball like I do. So
yeah, man, so we got you covered regardless. Baseball, basketball, football, high school recruiting, it's all going down, man.
Yeah.
Trent says, what you think Hugh's play calling will be when he gets a QB he actually trusts? Well, good thing you asked. Speaking of the member pods, Trent, I did one after I went and watched Deuce a couple weeks ago and kind of talked about how he would fit into Hugh Freeze's offense. Talked about everything I saw in Deuce, and boy, that deep ball, Trent. He throws a very pretty deep ball, and he has that Payton Thorne sneaky athletic. And when you saw that on that fourth down conversion, he made some things happen when he had to with his leg last night. Something I wish he would do more of. I guess at this point he's got one game left. I wish he would have done more of. But Deuce has that ability to where he gets 20 yards, and he makes it look so easy with those long strides on top of having the ability to make any throw. So, but Trent, he's also going to have to go out and get a guy in the portal because Deuce has got to develop. We
Yep.
saw that Walker has some tools, but he's probably still a year or two away from being ready to hold it down. So, but it's going to be a fun offseason, man. It's going to be a fun offseason to see. That's going to be the big question. Can we get the quarterback in there to get this system right?
I think Auburn might make a run at that Washington State quarterback. There's been a lot of hype around him. There's been a lot of fire. I think Auburn might go get him. They might try to go get him. He's experienced, played a lot of football. The tape, he's pretty good, man. He's pretty good. Like he can make the throws, all that good stuff. He plays in an offense that lets him air it out a little bit. And I think you need a guy like that has played a lot of football, can come in and be ready to go right out the gate, man. Especially with these receivers and all the talent that you're bringing back. So,
yeah, everybody cool now on Perry Thompson. Everybody good. We all good. We see his tweet last night. We're all good now.
Perry, people would message me and man, what about Perry? I don't think Perry ever wavered about leaving.
Yeah.
I think Perry Thompson is taking this moment in behind KLS and saying, hey, I'm learning from one of the greats. Like I just told you all a while ago, KLS is one of the greatest to ever do it at Auburn, at receiver. I don't care how you want to slice it. I don't care. He's been here a year. I don't care. He is. It's not hard to see. Perry Thompson is getting to learn from a veteran guy like KLS. He's getting all the things that he was late on by not being able to get to Auburn early. KLS is catching up on those things with Perry. Route running, blocking, playbook, all that stuff, man. Where to be on the field. All of that is with KLS. What better way to learn for Perry? But it's in the day and age that we live in is, oh, well, he ain't playing. He's portaling. He ain't playing. He's gone. He's gone. Somebody will come in and offer him more money. Yeah, I don't think it's like that with some kids. I think some of these kids are like, hey, man, I enjoy the process. I want to be developed. I want to learn from this guy. And I didn't come here to play with Payton Thorne.
Yeah.
I think that's another big thing that people are overlooking. These dudes didn't come for Payton Thorne to be their quarterback. So sometimes I think we gotta pump the brakes on the transfer portal and this guy leaving and that guy leaving because it's not always like that. You know, it just Perry's gonna play for Auburn and Perry's gonna do big things. Let Perry ride it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Got that number change ready for next year. Let's get the quarterback in here and spread this ball around. Martin with the $4.99 super chat. Didn't know if you had a comment attached to it, brother. Sometimes when you leave super chats, it puts the comment down there. But if you had something you wanted to attach to it, just re-comment it, and I'll be sure to pull it up before we get out of here. Ryan, I had to pull this up, my guy, because Boomer Sooner for you today, huh? Ryan put $100 on OU to beat Bama outright. Came home with $565 via FanDuel. Now Ryan can afford to buy the Thanksgiving dinner, and he's got a little bit of money he can donate to the NIL fund over there at On to Victory. Well, Ryan, if you're going to do it, you need to do it now, buddy. You need to do it now. We got about a week and a half before early signing day comes around. So, get the turkey, get the dressing, get everything you need for the family. Throw some gas in the car. Maybe get you a little bit of whiskey for Thanksgiving Day so you can sit back and watch the Cowboys get blown out by 50. And then, donate the rest to On to Victory. William, I could not agree with you more, man. William says, I'm so proud of them. They played their hearts out. We'll use this to transition into our player of the game. Man, so proud of this team, so proud of these seniors, just for them to go out the way that they went out. I'm proud of Payton Thorne. Like, you made the clutch plays when you had to. We know you're banged up. Could have mailed it in. I see a lot of guys around college football nowadays, 4, 5, 6 games in. I'm done. I'm sitting it out. I'm red-shirting. I know that Payton have a red shirt and all that, but he could have thrown his hands up with this situation. And could have thrown it up way back when he lost his job after the second game. He didn't. You stood in there and did everything, and he's continued to lead this team. He's continued to play in games that a lot of people would say are meaningless, and you're 4-6, and you're going out there and you're laying your body on the line and all that. This was a very, very hard pick for me, Blake. Big shout out to the third string kicker. Some guys on defense played well. I thought they just got gassed out as the game went on. Offense just stalled out. Kind of put the defense in a bad position. Still some depth issues on defense. We still got to get some of these younger guys ready to roll. We got to get some more bodies in there. I just saw those guys starting to wear down. Linebacker, we're super thin at linebacker right now. All that being said, man, my player of the game is going to be Connor Lew. I know it's not a sexy pick, and I know that Jarquez had 3 touchdowns, but I've given Jarquez love for 4 years. Listen, Connor Lew was moving folks last night. He was moving folks all night long. If there was pressure up the interior, I missed it. Maybe he had a missed assignment or two, but I thought he was just damn near perfect, and he was tough. He was finishing runs. It stood out to me on just about every play that Connor Lew was finishing the play, putting the defensive tackle on his ass, and I thought that he did a great job getting everybody lined up. Whatever the hell happened on that last drive with the 3 pre-snap penalties from the I don't know. That was just crazy and maddening. But listen, dude, I thought that Connor Lew was just a dog last night. I thought he absolutely dominated his matchup, and I thought that he kind of set the tone in the trenches. And I think that the success that we were able to have through the air, I think back to that second touchdown of Cam Coleman's where he's just wide open. That happens because you've established the run game. And that was a big part of that last night was Connor Lew. He was moving folks all night, and he kicked ass.
Hell of a pick. I think this Auburn offensive line can get their flowers too. That was one of the things, the keys to the game where we were like, can Auburn's offensive line hold up? Can they give Payton Thorne time? At times, yeah, they didn't hold up. I mean, A&M was sending 7 people at some points in the game. They were bringing the freaking house, and there was some times where we were rushing 3 and dropping 8. So shout out to the Auburn offensive line. Man, I've went back and forth on this. I've been extremely hard on the dude. But last night, 85 yards, a minute and 40 minutes some change left. We got to at least get a field goal, man. And I got to give the ball to Payton Thorne. I got to. 4th down, you pick it up. You showed guts all night. I said you couldn't do it. You did it. I'm proud of you. Like we said, you had 2 games left. 2 football games left for the rest of your life, man. And you put it on the line. You showed up when it mattered. You made the one mistake. You bounced back from it, and you got us in a winning position. And hell of a catch from KLS in overtime. I think that one might go down as one of the clutchest plays, man. Like I can tune back into that one 10 years from now and say, just clutch, man. Like
the one he had over the old boy's body late in the game to set us up was filthy.
It's the dude he's insane. I think this ball can go to the whole team. I think player of the game can go to the entire team if we're getting down to everything that happened last night. But when I see Payton, man, and the last drive and the guts he showed in overtime, I'm proud of him, man. And look, I see y'all in the chat talking about the kicker and the receivers. Yeah. That is my thing. I think all of this can go. I think it can go to everybody. Vachon was clutch. Like, I mean, from Birmingham Southern, y'all, I don't think we get how big of a jump that is. You went from Birmingham Southern to where they shut the school down. They said, hey, you can't go to school here anymore. We're not making enough money. He transfers to Auburn. And you find yourself kicking in Jordan Hare in front of 90,000 people against the number 15 team in the country. They said, hey, get out there. Our guy that we highly recruited, he wasn't getting it done. Get out there and make it happen. I don't think we get how big of a jump Birmingham Southern to Auburn is. I think this, man, give it to the whole team. But if I had to just put it on a guy who's been through absolute hell at Auburn, I got to give Payton his flowers, man. I'm really proud of him, Dustin. Like, I just that's why we love sports. That's why we love sports. It's like, I look at the NFL. I'll give you a good thing about the NFL. These dudes are still young. They don't understand the ins and outs of the NFL, right? Anthony Richardson, he was in a big time matchup a couple weeks ago. He pulled himself after he ran on a third down. All right. He said, hey, I'm tired. He head tapped. I'm tired. And they were like, what? They're like, what are you doing? Like, it's fourth down. The lead for the division is on the line, bro. Like, it's 4th and 2. What are you doing? And he was like, nah, man, I'm tired. They were like, hey, Joe Flacco, go in. He ends up getting benched, y'all. He ends up getting benched. And then he comes back out a couple weeks later, and he balls out for the Colts. And he was like, hey, I went through hell those 2 weeks for pulling myself. I didn't understand it, though. I didn't get it. All right. But I knew I had to go in and keep working my ass off to understand it and get better for my team. Congrats to Payton Thorne for continuously working your ass off, man. I'm proud of you. And it just feels good. It feels good to get on here and talk a dub, man. And to everybody in this chat, to everybody watching, we thank you. You stuck it out through the entire year. It means the world to us that you come in here, even after losses, wins, heartbreaks, triumphs, all that good stuff. You continuously make it back in here. And, we're 5-6, but we still love Auburn, right? War down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's never going to change. We got a big week of content coming up. We're playing in Maui. Basketball team is in one of the best, most important in-season tournaments of the year. Got a big test coming up late Monday night. Probably going to be like a 9 o'clock tip versus Iowa State, so we'll be up late. Got the basketball content coming out this week. And, we got to preview the Iron Bowl. We've won 2 in a row, Blake. We're on a winning streak. Our guy Ryan says, love you guys. Thanks for all you do. Hey, thank you, man. And I want to co-sign what Blake said, that it has not been easy. It's not been easy. It's not been easy this year. It's not been easy 4 to 5 years. Yeah. That's why you stormed the field last night, because you love Auburn. And, damn it just felt good to get a big win versus a big team when nobody really believed in you. And before we get out of here, I've seen you comment this a couple times, Water Cooler Talk Podcast, saying you would love to have us on the show. A lot of insight. My Twitter handle's right there. Blake's Twitter handle's right there. Just get at us, DM on Twitter, man, and I'd be happy to join. I don't know what Blake has going on this week, but just get at us, man, and I'm sure one of us will be able to get on there and help you out and talk about the Iron Bowl, man. A little bit of momentum on the Plains. Big-time recruiting stuff. I'm going to get over here and get some recruiting intel together, pump out a member pod for you guys this afternoon. So be on the lookout for that within the next couple of days. Got some basketball stuff to look at. Got to learn a little bit about Iowa State. But man, this feels good. This felt damn good. Blake, has been my favorite show we've ever done since we've been doing this thing. Winning is what it's all about. And I'll win with this. That's a hell of a way to send that old scoreboard out, ain't it?
Yeah. Look. I got to get to this one real quick. I wonder how Harson feels this morning. Hey, yeah, post your pic and post your status, all right?
Yeah.
Post it because you're not, because you're a loser. All right, war down.
I won't be able to see it. I'm blocked. War Damn Eagle, man. We'll see y'all Tuesday, 7 p.m.